Hey, we're live.
Good.
Happy overseas Sundays.
Yes,
We're
welcome
finally
back.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah. We've had a break.
excited.
So this is the start of the comeback now. We're gonna have this and then we're
Literally.
gonna have the normal podcast back soon as we get the studio up and running. But this week on Overseas Sundays, we've got Jordan. We've had her on the podcast before, but she's got some big news. So we're bringing her in from Colorado. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Welcome.
I am fantastic. How are you?
Very good.
Good. I'm super excited to have you on.
I'm super
Honestly.
grateful to be here.
So
Yeah.
tell us what have you been trying to do and what's happened?
Absolutely. So, I have been working on some language here in Colorado. But I want to first tell you a little bit about how I even got to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the former executive director of Denver NORML. NORML is
Yeah.
the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws.
I remember that on the podcast. It was very confusing when you dropped all that. I was like, "Wait, what was that?"
Yeah. It's a 50-year-old organization here in America that has been fighting for legalized cannabis for 50 years. They've been the largest consumer-based nonprofit where it's really just been about the people and starting a chapter in your hometown and trying to make a difference. And so
Yeah.
I started a chapter in Denver. Oh wow, this was in 2015, I believe.
Okay,
Wow.
10 years ago.
Um, and the first issue that I ever tried to work on was trying to legalize a space for people to consume.
Yeah,
And my goal was to be able to have a cannabis spa. And so I started building one and very quickly realized that if consumption of THC, which includes the topical consumption,
yeah.
um,
Even the skin, it's the same. Okay, wow.
and so you weren't allowed to apply it like if you were at a dispensary. And so then also if you had a spa and the product contained THC, you couldn't you couldn't apply it to someone. And
Yeah,
then you couldn't be a spa because you'd have to keep it like in a safe, and there was no law that allowed you to do this. And
yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
when we became very close to opening, I backed out of the situation with these business partners that I had. We cut ties and they tried to open anyways. And they were only open for like 6 months because they
shut
were
down.
the law. And so I persevered and I remained a mobile spa basically. And I
Yeah,
provide cannabis massage to clients, home, hotel, business, event space.
nice.
So that's how we've maintained for the last 11 years this month. So
Wow.
hard to believe. I never knew that I'd be a business owner, let alone for the last 11 years of my life being.
I
Yeah,
know. Amazing.
And so the end of October 2023, I had
yeah,
just gotten married to my husband, and I took my cousin and his wife. We were going to the airport, and they wanted to try like a smoking lounge, and there was really only one option in Denver, and so I took them there. And my cousin said, why can't you have a cannabis spa? Like I can see it happening. Why can't you do it? And I said, well, there's not really any laws to support that. And the woman who owned this place overheard me and she was like, did you know that laws are about to change, like very specifically for spa? And I was like, what? And so the beginning of January 2024, the law passed. And so I approached the city council for the town that I live in, which is Longmont, Colorado, that night, the very first.
yeah. Straight
Yes.
on it.
Let's go. Yes.
And to back up my time with Denver NORML, I did grassroots policy at the local, state, and federal level. I took groups of volunteers every single year to Washington, D.C., and we would lobby at the federal level. We did things at the state capitol, and we did things with our city council. And so I had a good understanding of how laws are created. And so I also realized that you have to start local first, right? If the
Yeah,
state allows something, that doesn't mean that the city you live in is going to allow it. You have
Yeah.
to get them to change their
you
municipal.
get them and then the state and then the
Right,
keep working their way up.
right. And
Yeah.
so I approached the Longmont City Council, and it just so happened that the same night they being the city clerk and the city attorney, they were providing a report to the city council on what it would look like if they adopted this language. And
Okay.
so it was like this
Yeah.
unbelievable timing.
Yeah.
Just that they're curious.
Yeah, they were curious when
Without
they
you having to force them.
coming, they wanted a report of what would it do to the city, what would it look like, what do the business models look like. And so when I approached right out of the gate, I did not want smoking in my spa.
Yeah.
And so it was the first time I think that they were like, wow, that's an option. Why can't you just THC now? And I was like, I am, but I have to be mobile. And they were like, I think they all had to get past that fact first, that like it was so simple to them that they were like, what do you mean you can't just apply THC?
Cream.
Yeah. I would have done it. Like I would have done it at any point in the last 11 years. Like I had to have the language to back up what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So we had 5 city council meetings. You know, first the language was introduced a couple of times. They had to decide if before the language was introduced, they had to decide if they wanted to see language from the city attorney and if they wanted to see what it would look like. And then there was multiple rounds of questioning. And then there was what's called a 0 read, which is like the first time that it's read. And then there's what's called a first read. And they actually had 2 first reads, which was kind of rare. And then they provided a second read, which is if it passes second read, then it becomes law.
Oh, nice.
Mayor signs it, and we ended up passing 4-3. And
Nice.
so what it
That is a
actually,
nice number.
thank you, what it actually did was it allows for a marijuana hospitality establishment license.
Oh, nice.
So there are different business models, but people can create a Amsterdam style lounge if they.
Beautiful.
That's amazing.
That's not my business model. I'm trying to focus on the luxury cannabis spa.
Yes,
showing
but you're
people
giving a space for so many.
Yes, it's about the healing, not about the high. That's always my focus. You know, I'm a nurse, and so it's been very important to me I'm also an educator. I teach around the country at spa conferences about cannabis and skincare, cannabis and massage, cannabis and wellness. Just trying to educate people the importance of utilizing cannabinoids with our largest organ, right?
So it's so powerful.
Thank you.
And you've always worked with THC more than CBD,
Yes. So when I started in 2014, you know, I went and I purchased from various dispensaries because I was a medical patient, right? This was still, this was in 2014. We were still medical. We hadn't yet passed recreational.
Okay.
And so, am I getting the year right? Yes.
2012 you was legalized.
We were medical.
Recreational, I think, 2012 for Colorado, no?
I think it went into effect in January 2014 was the first day. I was there like when they made the first sale. Because we're in 11 years in business. So that makes sense. Okay, what was I saying? See, cannabis.
THC.
THC. So it was the cannabinoid that was really available at that time. All of the topical products that existed in dispensaries were all THC. And so I purchased every single thing that existed at that time. And I would just show up at people's houses that were already like my clientele. And I would say, hey, can I apply cannabis all over your body? And they'd be like, what? What?
Oh my God, please. Jordan, come to my house.
Can I find out what it does to you?
Yes.
So then I would just ask people the same questions everywhere I went. And the thing that I noticed was like there was like discrepancies in the products. Like some things would work better than others. both on them and on my hands, right? Because like I don't want to use something that's full of alcohol that as soon as I apply it, it's going to sink into them, and then I have to get more and keep applying. And so it was very difficult to find a product at first. And then I started studying herbalism, and I decided that it would just be better to try and make stuff. And, you know, that way I was more in control of where is the cannabis coming from?
Yeah.
The other herbs coming from. And so it just started.
And the levels of everything.
Say it again.
And the levels of everything you use, and whether it's got like how much THC and CBD and all this, and
right, and how many rose petals is too much in one, you know, concoction. You know, I remember in the very early days of when I first started, like giving my patients hives and giving myself hives like up my arms from using peppermint. I didn't want to just use peppermint essential oil. I wanted to use peppermint leaf, and peppermint leaf is like, it makes you itch. So, you know, little things like that, like
learning.
You know, and what would work most synergistically with cannabis.
Yeah.
And so THC was, again, the primary cannabinoid. It wasn't until 2018 when the Farm Bill passed here in America that they defined hemp for the first time, which is cannabis that is less than 0.3% THC. And so when they provided that definition, it blew open the market for all of these people to all of a sudden be using CBD in basically everything and anything.
Yeah.
And so I just started adding it. I still used THC from that we were growing, but then I began adding, you know, CBD distillate or isolate. And I tried different combinations of broad spectrum, full spectrum, isolates, trying to, again, see what was most effective. And time again, I saw that you have to have THC with CBD. They belong together.
They do. They assist each other.
Well, we have receptors in our skin, and we have receptors to uptake both THC and CBD. And so I think it's incredibly important, especially when we're talking about pain or various conditions, that people have an option that is a topical plant-based product over a pharmaceutical.
Oh, absolutely.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to pain medicine and that form, 100%. Like I've even, one of my friends here, he does CBD body butter. And the same with that, anytime I have cramps or back pain, I notice the massive difference. Or I'll have his bath bomb with CBD. And that, it relaxes the muscles and the joints, and you have a peaceful night's sleep. So it's working both on the brain and the body.
Absolutely.
Like it does have a massive effect.
I was just explaining that the other day. You know, science has proven now that when you receive massage therapy, when you receive acupuncture, when you do breath work, we create our own endocannabinoids.
Yeah.
And when we apply a topical phytocannabinoid
What's phyto mean?
Phyto, PHYTO, means plant-based, plant.
Okay,
sourced. So an endo, ENDO, means internal. So it means created. So an endocannabinoid is something that we make. A phytocannabinoid is something we consume.
Okay.
And so when you are working with both endocannabinoids and phytocannabinoids, your body is achieving a level of homeostasis that can't otherwise be achieved without a cannabis massage. And so when people receive that type of massage head to toe and they've never had it before, they usually get up and they're like, what? I can't even.
Dizzy and disorientated.
You can't. It's like massage drunk on another level, right? Like people that term here in America, massage drunk, because they get off the table and they're like, whoa. Well, when you add cannabis, especially if you
massage stoned.
It's
right?
like they're so relaxed, the
cannabinoid.
muscles forget how
Yes.
to work.
Like
Yeah.
what? Like I'm
Yeah.
in homeostasis like I've never experienced before.
That's amazing.
That's what I want to teach people. That's why it's not about smoking in my spa, and it's about the health. It's not about the high. It's about
Yeah.
what can we achieve with our bodies when we have homeostasis.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was one of the first like things I learned about the cannabinoid system. And it was that phrase that the cannabinoid system's use is for homeostasis.
Yes.
And that is balance. It's
Okay.
basically homeostasis means balance in the body.
Yeah.
So basically if you're heated, you're hungry, it
All
sorts
the levels
that
are just
out.
right. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I do agree even with the 2 cannabinoids that you say.
Yeah, so the full spectrum that I use, has I think like 9 different cannabinoids in it. There's over 100 cannabinoids that have been identified in the plant that there's still so much to learn.
Yeah.
So
What each does, their own little powers, their own
all
little
have their own
benefits.
powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this plant, the ability to put anything into homeostasis, it's our blood pressure, it's our blood sugar, it's our metabolic system.
Yeah.
It's every single aspect of the human body. I've always said 2 things. One, I think eventually there will be some form of cannabinoids. This is what I hope anyways. If every human has an endocannabinoid system, I'd like to see cannabinoids in an IV normal saline bag.
Okay.
If normal saline is what we are, right? We're
Yeah.
salt water.
Yeah.
So we are also an endocannabinoid system. If we are in an emergency room, something is awry that needs to be balanced, right?
Yeah.
I think even if it was 1 milligram of THC and 1 milligram of CBD, something so minute that simply just, I don't know. That's something I've always wanted.
It's enough to level it all out.
No,
Yeah.
100%.
It's just always made sense to my brain. And I hope that I get to see that in my life.
Yeah.
I know that we are currently and have been for the last decade at the absolute epicenter of the research that's being done on this plant. Like we get to
Yeah.
experience history every single day. And it's
Yeah.
incredible. It's incredible
Like that.
what scientists are figuring out.
It's amazing what they discovered before it was even legal or tolerated in any way. Like the amount
Yes.
of medical benefits they discovered while it was a crime to even possess this.
Well, even like yourself, Jordan, you were just being like, "Hey, friend, can I test this
Yeah,
on
do some
you?"
research.
Yeah, but it's having people. No one's just going to say yes to anyone. Your people and your friends, like even myself and them, we would trust you.
Yeah.
You trust your intuition because you were so right, and I believe you even right down to the little milligram of the CBD in that bag. Because it is like I only learned of someone recently who works mainly with CBD and CBG about the different cannabinoids that if you have one is good for diabetes, and if you take another it's not good if you have certain type of blood pressure
Okay.
issues. So that small thing can have such an impact
Yeah.
that people as well shouldn't be taking if they have certain issues. This needs to be out there. So you're
Absolutely.
definitely on the right path.
Absolutely. I actually, a pharmacist friend of mine, she actually created this little infographic, and I need to send it to you. I'm going to write that down.
No, please.
Says like what medication, and it's kind of sciencey, but it's incredibly important information. When I teach, I often have spa owners that want to sell like CBD drops, like a tincture.
Yeah.
They want to sell them in their spa, and I always kind of caution and say, if you're going to, maybe print this out and put it in a little frame, because you don't know who has high blood pressure, you don't know who
Yeah.
have a past mental health situation, you don't know who might have had an organ transplant and maybe maybe, someone wants to help their mother-in-law or whatever it is, and they're like, oh, this looks like good stuff, I'll take this home and I'll give it to her,
Yeah.
not realizing the detriment that can happen. There are definitely drug interactions, and there are definitely some condition interactions that can occur with cannabinoids. And again, that's an important thing for all of us to know, and an important thing for that type of research to continue.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
Cannabis is a catch-all. It would be nice to say that it can't harm anyone and it's the most safe plant everywhere, but every plant that's on this planet has conditions, right?
Yeah.
Literally, and it doesn't agree with everyone.
Yeah, some person might just have something that cannabinoid or that won't agree with, and will make them, no, well, maybe worse, it just won't help them, you know what I mean? And it can set off their whole balance.
Absolutely.
No, and it is that, like, it's beautiful, especially people that don't consume, that are having this open mind. Like, as you're saying, ooh, I'll grab this cute little tincture because it might help the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Right. I love that mindset. Please have that to cannabis. But with that,
educate yourself. Yeah.
And it is, but that's not out there. So people like yourself and your friend, we need this information. Absolutely. Definitely it is. It's so powerful.
It's just important. It's just important for people to understand that, yes, it's going to help countless conditions.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you don't have one of the few that
that's not
there are a few things that you need to be aware of. High THC. I mean, and still to this day, cannabis has never killed anyone. It doesn't have the ability to do that. Opiates have the ability to do that because it affects your central nervous system, and it slows your breathing, and eventually your breathing will just stop if you have too much. Versus cannabis, it's not possible. It doesn't do that to your body. So
you have a good night's sleep.
But if you have certain types of cardiac conditions and you consume too much THC, can it cause heart palpitations? Yeah, it definitely can. And so, I mean, I think it can cause heart palpitations to anyone that smokes a joint and then gets paranoid because they see the cops running at them. You know what I mean?
I think we've all got the heart. You're like, oh, am I okay? You're like, I'll survive.
Without breathing.
The animals kick in too hard. You're like, wait a minute.
Exactly. Or your legs go numb because you think they're behind you in the car.
That's it. We've all had to have little panic moments. You just have to remind yourself that weed doesn't kill. You're going to be okay. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's definitely one of the safer plants, I believe, that we have access
to. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And such a powerful plant as well. Like, it's crazy.
Food, fiber, fuel, and medicine. For thousands.
I think some was 50,000 different uses or something crazy like that. And growing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking for the spa, and I was looking. There's a place nearby that does stuff with hempcrete. And so it's
I've heard of that.
Made out of hemp, and I'm like, what can I make? What can I
make? Big time.
What do I need?
Imagine building the whole spa out of hempcrete.
Well, I want to, utilize those types of building materials. We're trying to be as sustainable as possible in regards to all of our operations. We are a plastic-free spa as well.
Nice.
There will be no single-use plastics anywhere in the building. I was even telling my girls the other day, I was like, so just so you know, if someone walks in with their big Starbucks cup or from wherever, I'm like, you're going to take that from them and you're going to put it into one of our cups. And they were like,
nice.
And I was like, sorry, I'm creating protocols. I don't want plastic cups walking around a luxury spa. That's one of the worst that's ever happened. Like, I want you to use a hemp plastic cup. If you're going to use any kind of plastic, it's going to be made out of hemp. And so there's a company in Florida, Ananda. It's a woman-owned company. She makes hemp towels. And so
nice.
shoes are going to be made out of hemp. We're really trying to utilize the plant in every aspect that we can. The blankets that I'm ordering are made out of hemp. The slippers that we're going to have, the robes are partly made of hemp. Just trying to really work with every aspect of it, right?
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
And you're even going to be showing like clients and newbies to this a whole other avenue.
Yeah.
Just like it's not just the
Yeah,
smoking. In
they
fact,
thought it was
there's
just
no
smoking and all
smoking.
this, and you've got a whole room where top to bottom
Yeah, from
cannabis
what's on
Yes.
your body to the clothes you're wearing, the
to
towel,
what you're drinking out
everything.
of to everything
Yeah,
is
you're
just
doing a
Exactly.
lot in your mission.
I want them to understand that's just one aspect of this amazing plant. I mean, I smoke every day. It's not like I don't I don't think it's awesome. It's not like
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe one day, maybe if it was massive amounts of square space and you didn't have to be outside. Like the rule here is you either have to be outside or it has to be like specially sanctioned in a building, and then you have to have all of this extra equipment of air scrubbers and
yeah. That's for combustion now, yes.
yeah.
What about vaping and stuff?
So no vaping. In the if someone else wants to open that model, they can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
But
just a personal.
Yeah, we won't
Yeah.
have vaping or smoke.
Yeah.
And can I ask, now with the new laws they've passed, have you basically opened a massive gate for not just also people in the holistic field? They're also like, this is for, like, as you said,
There are
Amsterdam
4
coffee shop.
licenses available, and so
What did you say? 4 business models?
there are 4 licenses available
Okay.
for 2 business models. Basically, the spa model, or
Yeah.
you can. I'm sorry, 3, I guess. You can have people bring their cannabis
Yeah.
and provide the environment for them to consume, or they can purchase it from you on site and then consume it there.
Okay.
I
Nice.
have the ability to also be like a dispensary. Like I can sell all the products that we will be utilizing. I could
So when you
potentially
start making your own creams and oils and stuff, you can then sell them on from there. That's amazing.
Oh,
correct.
Jordan, this is amazing. This
Well,
is.
Thank you.
No, it's so cool. No, this shit needs to be screamed from the rooftop. It really does. Like, I'm not being bad. We had this man on a while ago that basically said his journey is our industry. And I was like, I was annoyed because like this fight isn't over. We can't just go and be and consume and heal ourselves with this plant yet. There's so much work to be done, and you were making them massive steps.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
Yeah,
I
no,
mean
for
it. You're
sure.
a fucking legend, woman.
Thank you.
So much.
To educate people on it, to make it available for people,
Yeah.
to make it normal for people, all them things. Like
It's
we need all of them to happen for people. So many people have been
wow.
lied to for so long that we need them to hear it from so many different angles that it's
Yeah.
okay before they'll even step toe into this kind of world. You know what I mean? Like it's
Really, and you're given a beautiful, as you said, a space to step
yeah,
into. It's not the cool clubs and the dim lights. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
sanctuary, and I can only imagine the energy you're going to create
oh
there.
stuff.
Thank you.
Oh no, I like heaven, an absolute heaven.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I really want to create something that's very community based,
Nice.
where we
Beautiful.
give back to local businesses and charities and just show people a different side of cannabis. You know,
Yeah.
there's so much just bad information still this far.
Yeah. Other people are trying to cash in on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People that have never done anything for the industry think they can just come in now and put a brand on it and put out this, that, and the other, and think they can just cash in quick. Like
Yes.
they've done nothing to get us here. They're doing nothing to help our fight at the moment, and they'll do nothing in a few years either.
No, it's not advancing anything when people
apart from themselves.
grabs. And I've waited this long for this type of language to actually exist. And I just want to prove concept. I just want to show people what's possible.
Yeah.
And so, I remember when I wrote my first business plan in 2014, I saw Primal Therapeutics having potential like Massage Envy or one of those like chain places where why couldn't they be everywhere?
Yeah.
Cannabis should
for sure.
be used by everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Would you educate the right people to keep it going and spread it? Like
Right. And so I've had students all across the country. And so, I hope as this continues to happen, I hope to inspire other business owners, massage therapists, whomever, that there's worth more.
Yeah,
There's worth more to be fighting for than to
definitely.
just, settle for the status quo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's it. We
So,
wouldn't be where we are if people settled. You know what I
No.
mean? If people didn't realize that the laws are wrong, the people are uneducated, and the world needs to change and see it a different way. And people like you and everyone else along the way who have kept doing it underground and believing that one day people will see what they see, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
mhm.
yeah,
I'd
Yeah.
say even that is amazing. Just them actually turn around and be like, yeah, no,
you're
you're
right.
right.
Yeah, you've
You're
been right
actually
all
right.
along.
Go on ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well
the
done.
perseverance was definitely the word of the year last year.
Yeah.
You know, it started out, there were definitely more votes in our favor, and then as it continued, I lost the mayor, and she really just didn't want to see more cannabis businesses in the city.
okay.
And I would just say each time I presented, I look forward to proving to you that I will be a steward of this community. Because
Nice.
Nice.
I that's what I want them to understand. Like I am a businesswoman. I am also a nurse and I'm also a massage therapist. But I want to create something that you want to bring your family to. Not
Nice.
just, be like, oh, there's that seedy cannabis spot.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's
I want it to be
beautiful.
classy and I want it to be beautiful. And we have so many machines that we're getting on the aesthetic side, and we're going to have a sauna, and I want it to be a sanctuary to people.
yeah. And
That's
could you have like if a
beautiful.
steam room? Could you have steam like you already have like you get the vapo in the thing? Could you have like some sort of CBD THC infused
You could
steam
definitely,
rooms or something? I don't know how the science works on that.
yeah, I honestly don't know either.
I
Just
can
everyone just
imagine
sitting in
why.
there, just going into your pores, just sweating it into you, like
You need someone going in and checking every few minutes that goes
Uh,
in.
everyone has a rope, and if the rope falls, you're like pull them out. They've had it.
well, I know
They're
that
ready.
activates cannabinoids, so I don't know. I mean, I
You'll be
definitely
very chill.
need maybe a
But just,
terpene edition, but I don't even know if you can do that. I have to
yeah.
research.
But now you're opening a
Yeah.
space where people can trial and error this stuff like you did. You know what I mean? What if we drop a bit of THC in this, a bit of CBD in that, see what happens? You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
and the laws, they're just Colorado, or is that nationwide?
No, this is just Colorado.
And
Uh,
does any other state have a similar setup, or use the first?
so I think for this specific language, I think California allotted for something similar.
Similar, yeah.
But I
Maybe not worded the
don't know
same.
other language, to be honest.
Yeah. I
I
love the way the language is such an American thing because you have to get the words exactly right or you can't
Yeah.
do jack shit. So the fact that you have to say, I
Yeah.
need the language right before I step forward. I need
Yeah.
you letter by letter to say this is okay. You know what I mean? And
It's so specific, and
yeah.
there's been such a gray area in our industry of
Well, you don't need to tell us about grey areas in Amsterdam. It's fucking we're
right.
built for grey areas.
You sure
We
were.
have no language.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And so to actually now have some form of
Yeah.
just
Writing and backing and
legally do what I do in a brick and
yeah,
mortar, like the
Oh,
products are going to have to go in a safe. They contain THC. There's all of these standard operating procedures and protocols and all these things that we're going to have to create because
yeah,
there's no one before me that I can go borrow their language.
of course.
Like, hey, how did you guys get through this?
Yeah.
There's a
You have
lot,
to figure it all out.
you
right?
are that woman.
Yeah, the trailblazer.
Yes,
Yes.
I accept that responsibility.
Yeah,
No, and
I did 11
we
years
feel
ago.
so honored that you
yeah.
are.
It's a big weight to take on, but someone's got to do it. So it's good that
Yeah.
someone's educated and passionate that's doing it. You know what I mean? Someone that knows what they're
Thank,
talking about.
And can
thank
I
you.
ask? I know it's on a random one, but with the like you're saying that everything would have to be back in the States. So like when you shut up shop at the end of the night, does that mean if you had your products out at the reception area, everything from there, everything from the therapy rooms, all
Correct.
has to be then collected and brought back. So
Correct.
it's not you have an extra job on top of your job as
Correct.
well. Then like your
As
normal
well
massage
as
therapist as well.
correct, as well as
Yeah.
all of my staff will also, in addition to the license they carry, they will now also have to be licensed by the Marijuana Enforcement Division as an employee. So they will be
Okay.
and massive background checks and all of those things. It's not just like
Okay.
I can hire a massage therapist and that's it. I now have to
Yeah.
also have them badged to be an employee. Like I have my appointment on Friday, my to be an owner application.
Okay.
Because that's a separate badge that you have to have
Yeah.
The,
to prove that you are a suitable individual to be an owner of a licensed cannabis
and the
business.
people you're going in front of, do they know what they're talking about to give you to say you know what you're talking about? Like, is there
So
educated people making
licensing,
these decisions?
they come from the licensing point of
Yeah, this is
view.
the problem. They're usually government people who don't know what they're talking about. They're trying to tell you, the expert, oh, maybe you can't have a license, or maybe you can't do. You're like, you don't even know what you're talking about. This is the other problem because it's so early. There's nobody like the people that have to give you out the license. They're still learning. They don't know what they're
Right.
doing either. You know what I mean? So
But is
it's
And
that your hope
thankfully,
in that?
yeah, thankfully I have a really amazing attorney and she's been a cannabis business attorney for the last decade. And so having her is why I feel confident in the application process
yeah,
Yeah.
because she's right there making sure that we've dotted our I's and crossed our T's
nice.
and made our due
She has to
diligence.
believe in it too, and not just be another client. You know what I mean? Because you need them, especially with
Exactly.
this tricky word and
She's actually someone who used to lobby with me at the state level when I
Oh
was the executive
wow.
director and she was a new attorney. She would come and join our lobby days. And
well,
as this whole process has continued, I've kind of reached out to her over the years and been like, whenever I get to do this, like you're my girl. Like you're the
yeah,
person. And so
nice.
I'm
You
really
started
going
it together and
to
just continue it together.
like my compliance person, he was a former board member of mine in my chapter, and he went on to get his master's degree in cannabis compliance. And
Wow,
so he's going to be my compliance person. And then, like, I
a
have a
good
friend,
team. So
another friend who was on my board who went into the art scene. And so I get to now work with him at the art level where I can have beautiful pieces created for the spa because of
yeah,
the network that he knows. And so I'm really trying to like bring back all the people in my life that put me to where I am now. I want
yeah. The people
That's
you know you can trust and know that they
beautiful.
have the same
Yeah.
ideas and beliefs as you do.
They
they've
kept
seen
it
me
going.
this whole time. They've seen me from the time I started my business and what I've tried to do. And they all fought with me doing policy. And so this one I did alone.
Yeah,
Ben did provide testimony a couple of times towards the end, but this was my mission. And I kept wanting to post and I kept wanting to put it on social media. And at the end of the day, when I did policy, I often ended up disappointed because policy
yeah,
is incremental and it takes forever to move language forward. And you have to have all of these people on your side. And there's so many moving parts and so many logistics. So that
yeah.
when it came to this, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell anybody.
Yeah.
Tell
Just for
anybody
quiet.
until it
Yeah.
happens. I need to know that this is real. And I all of last year, there were so many ups and downs, and I would just be like, "Oh my god, like what am I doing?" Because if
Yeah,
Yeah.
past, what am I doing with my future? Am I going to keep doing exactly what I've been doing? Like I feel like
yeah. Have I built towards all this for nothing?
yeah, like I feel
Yeah,
like it's the next logical step for me. It's what's supposed to happen now. And as the bill passed, or bill as the ordinance passed, it's just I found the property that I wanted, and then I needed a broker, and then poof, that a fellow business owner in downtown Longmont sent me her person, and that person was just perfect for then this next thing. And so that's how I know I'm doing the right thing.
Everything's falling into
Yeah.
place.
Flying open.
Yeah.
One after another.
You've built all these bridges and planted all these seeds, and now it's time to harvest. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Oh,
big
delighted for you.
time.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
Really, really well done. You should be so, so proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Like, that takes, as you said, perseverance, dedication.
Yeah,
Like that takes a lot, darling.
yeah. At
You're
any
not
point, you
just-
could have stopped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just said, "This is too much. This
Yeah.
is never going to happen." You know what I mean? At any point, and nobody would have thought less of you for it because it's a fucking hard battle.
Yeah.
It's been-
You know what I mean?
Literally. The
yes.
fact that you kept it going, no fucking hell. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Belief in what you were doing. You knew what you were doing was right, and that someone would see it eventually. You know what I mean?
That was really what it was. You know, from the very first time that I applied cannabis from someone to head to toe, I didn't know that there was science. I didn't understand that there were receptors in
You
the.
believed something was there. You didn't know the full outcome.
I felt it with my hand,
Yeah.
and I felt it on the human body, and I thought, shit, this is this. I mean, this is real. The proof
Yeah.
is in what the human body feels and the way that it responds to what I do, to what any massage therapist does when using the right medium. But
Yeah.
it was the first time in my career and in my life at that point that the only thing that was different was the oil I was using.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
It
No
wasn't.
new methods. No new
I
angles.
wasn't doing a new technique. It was
Yeah.
the format the flow that I created years ago. It was the cannabis itself. And then the other thing, I have this cyst in my wrist. It's been there for probably 15 years. And I was working for this chiropractor. This is now 12 years ago. I was working for this chiropractor, and he would kinesiotape my wrist, and they'd acupuncture me, and I'd leave at the end of the day and I'd be exhausted. My hand would be killing me. I'd go home, I'd ice myself. So I start doing cannabis massage. And I'd say probably about 3 months in to using it consecutively on other people,
Yeah.
I realized that my wrist didn't hurt anymore.
So you're getting the benefit yourself.
What the heck? I haven't done anything to my wrist. And I sat
Yeah.
there, and I really thought about it that day. And I was like, what is different? Oh my God. I'm applying it to other people.
Yeah.
I wasn't
but
me waking up every day and being conscious and being like, oh, let me see if this heals me. This was
Yeah.
me working on other
Yeah.
people and having this realization that, like, wait a minute, this is extending my career. In
Yeah.
massage school, they teach us that, like, if you work full time for a decade, you'll burn out. Like,
Yeah.
pretty much you're tapped out at that point. I
Yeah.
am celebrating 19 years this
Wow.
year.
Wow.
24 years as a nurse, 19 years as a massage therapist. There's
That's
no possible way that my career would have extended this long. I was ready to leave. Like, they wanted to do surgery on my hand. And I can't tell you the last time I needed my brace.
That's mental.
It's crazy. And so
And,
Yeah.
and to get it from just how, like, you weren't even trying it yourself. It was
No.
just a byproduct of what you were doing.
While you're still working and tiring
Yeah.
yourself, you're probably getting more
Stronger,
stronger
yeah.
than you
I
were.
was. I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that truly
Sure.
was the defining moment for me. I was like,
That's
I'm
amazing.
not stopping. This is
No.
everyone needs to know this. Everyone needs to understand the
Yeah.
healing potential of topical cannabis. And so, finally,
The
there
people are
Yeah.
listening.
was a way for me to truly be like, come to our spa, not just let me come to your house.
Yeah.
So a spa, a cannabis
Multiple
spa.
people in there together and just chilling and relaxing, and it's amazing.
No heaven.
Yeah.
Like this is what stoners dream of. Everything we have had to do in life is, now I know I'm referring to smoking, but it's like we'd have to consume
Right.
and then go to the event or go to the spa.
Right.
Now, as someone that consumes or as a medicinal patient, you get to go and be fully you.
Yeah.
Like at a spa, you're still on that little edge of, oh, I didn't consume, or I didn't. You're now actually, as a cannabis consumer,
Yeah.
getting to
You have
fully
that joint
switch off.
before it, and if the rest of us carry you through, then
Like
Enjoy
that's
your time
beautiful.
in a peaceful, beautiful place that has good smells, and you're not smelling stale
Yeah.
smoke, and you're not
yeah,
smoking a vape thing. You
Yeah.
know, like
yeah,
it's just like a spa should be, but
Yeah.
with the addition of putting cannabis all over the walls and not all over the walls, but
yeah,
utilizing
But
hemp in every way
literally,
possible, and just showing people the other side of cannabis. That's
yeah,
no, and it really should be, especially on a, like, we've always said it that, like, even if it doesn't become legal or recreational, once it becomes medicinal, I'm fine
yeah.
because we can get it
The people that need it will
regardless.
get it.
But we want the people that genuinely need this mentally and physically can receive the treatment they
Yeah,
need without having to go down the pharmaceutical route. Because I think you usually, I don't want to say, but you end up sicker.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or
There's-
dependent at least. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
there's some knock-on thing. Whereas if it can just be something as powerful but as simple as a massage, can just bring your body and mind back to balance.
Yeah.
Wow.
absolutely. There was a
Yeah.
point where the mayor called my model the therapeutic model. One of the meetings, she said they were talking about size requirements, and one of the council people said, "Well, I don't want to have a cannabis Disneyland in the tiny town of Longmont, so I think we need to limit the size of these spaces."
Yeah.
So the mayor said, "Well, wait a minute, we're not talking about the therapeutic model, though, right? We're talking about this model." And I was like, "Whoa, that's me. That's me. That's
Yeah.
it's in my name. It's in my name."
So
Like,
she doesn't want to limit you with what you do. That's amazing.
but it was again, that was another defining moment that I
The
was
fact
like,
that she
wow,
sees the difference as well and
yes,
not lump you all in
Yeah.
and see stoners, you know what I mean? Who we
exactly.
got today? Oh, this group's of stoners. Oh, fuck. We'll get
You know,
through them. We'll do lunch.
we have, if we get the building that I want, there's parking, and so we have to have cameras at the front and the parking lot and at the entrance and in the consumption area and all of these. There's so many things that I have to show and prove. It is
Yeah.
so not just like the build out. That is
Yeah.
Not
the
just make it
beginning
cute.
of
No,
it
there's
all.
work. Yeah.
So many, fire, police, health department, all of these agencies are going to come through and they're going to make sure that we've created something that's worthy of the general public.
Legitimate.
Yeah.
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 And so I can't wait. I used to, when I was a
Yeah.
little young CNA, age of 16, and the state would come in and do inspections. I remember all the adults around me would like scramble and be like, "Oh my God, make sure this person's doing this." And just like insanity. And I remember being 16 and thinking, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be the director of nursing and I'm going to be the one in charge. And when inspection comes,
We're going to be ready.
walk on in, and I'm not going to have to walk through the building and make people scramble because it's already going to be at that level. And so
Yeah.
there's something
Nice.
in me that's always wanted.
Your 16-year-old self.
Yeah.
Oh, Jordan, amazing woman.
Things. So like, I'm like, yeah, come inspect.
Yeah, you
Let's
are ready.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
You're, as you, like Glenn even said, you're the trailblazer. There's no blueprint. There's nothing. You are setting the standard,
Yeah.
even for all the other people that want to step into your shoes and be like, I can do a cannabis spa. You're like, no, can you? Because this is the standard we want to set for cannabis.
Yeah.
If
Even when
there-
they're going checking new places, they go, "No, you're not." Like
Yeah.
this one has done it right. You know what I mean? So you're
Yeah.
setting the bar.
I many years ago, I had been in business for about a year, and I was at a political function, and they were having people from other states come to Colorado all the time to see what laws we created. And so we would always have lawmakers, senators, representatives coming from all the surrounding states because they really wanted to see what was our tax revenue? What did it look like when you changed these laws? And so I was at this function, and this guy walked up to me, and he read my name tag, and he said, "What's a Primal Therapeutic?" And I said, "Oh, I do cannabis massage, and I tell people why they should be using cannabis as plant medicine." And I remember he almost dropped his cocktail, and I was like, "Whoa, are you okay?" And he was like, "What did you say you do?" And I said, "Cannabis massage." And he was like, "What exactly do you do?" And so I explained, I use these infused oils and I apply them from head to toe. And he said, he looked around the room and he said, "Who gave you permission to do that?" And I said, "What? I gave myself permission." And he goes, "Well, what kind of license do you have to do that?" And I said, "Well, I have a massage license and I have a nursing license." And he was like, "What kind of cannabis license do you have?" I said, "Oh, I have my medical card because I'm a patient." And he was like, No, no. Okay, who's in charge of you?" And I was like, "What?" No one had ever asked me that question, right?
Yeah.
Who's in charge of me? And so obviously now I would be like, "Me." Like, but I'm very, very green at this time. And I'm like, I don't know that guy. And I pointed to my ex. And so he shook my hand and he said, "Thank you very much for your time." And he walked away from me and walked up to my ex. And I was like, "What the hell just happened?" And so, long story short, that gentleman's name was former Senator Tick Seeger-Bloom. He's now the county commissioner of Nevada. And I was in Las Vegas like 2 weeks later, speaking before his subcommittee panel on the various occupations and businesses, ancillary businesses that could be created out of the legalization movement. And so literally overnight, I went from like it being an idea to it being presented to politicians as a
Wow.
viable business model. And so he then created a bill that what it would have done is it would have provided some safety kind of mechanisms for people that served before a board. So if you were an architect, you were a dentist, you were a nurse, you were a doctor, you were a lawyer, if you served before a governing board, that board could not punish you for touching the plant, working with the plant, whatever it might be. So it would have been for cannabis nurses, cannabis massage therapists. And so the bill passed the House, then it passed the Senate. And on the last day of session, the governor vetoed the bill. And so that was one of my early political situations. And
Yeah.
I was crushed. I didn't even live in that state. That's not what it was about. I went and provided testimony in Nevada, and again tried to educate, and it worked, and he made it so far, but the governor didn't see it, and he was the final word, and so that bill died. And but it was
What year was that?
that was 2016. I have some clips I can send you actually.
Right.
Yeah, it was, but it was a huge eye-opening experience in regards to
Was
politics.
that before Nevada had legalized weed?
They had just legalized.
Just legalized, okay, and they were looking into other options and stuff.
Yep, they were looking at just other ways to add industry.
Yeah.
To create, because there were attorneys that wanted to start focusing on cannabis. There were doctors that were offering recommendations to get your medical card. There were there's all these industries that and to back up, his next form of questioning that night before he walked away was, what are you going to do if they come and arrest you for this? And I said, "I'm going to call the news." And I'm going to make a really big spectacle of it. Like, that's not a solution. And I said, "But it is. It's crazy. Like, why can't I?
Yeah.
Why can't I?" And so he just was like, he has seen my vision from the moment that I met that man. And we're still good friends and colleagues.
Nice.
I see him every time I go to Nevada. But yeah, sorry, Ben just came downstairs with his sister.
And come here, I want to ask you, I know that with dispensaries, they can't deal with banks because it's not legal on a federal level. Does that affect you?
So one of the many, watch out, babe.
Yeah.
One of the many interesting pieces of the language at the state level, one of the requirements was to create a relationship with a bank. And it was something I asked counsel about because in Colorado, if you do end up with a cannabis account, sometimes they'll charge you up to $1,500 a month US, to bank with them.
Regardless of what your intake is.
And so, we are a spa.
Yeah. You can't afford that kind of.
We're more a spa than we are a cannabis business.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I apply, I'm applying as a spa.
Okay. What you use on your oils has nothing to do with them.
Right. Like they don't, when you become a spa, the person doesn't say to you, what products are you using?
No.
Right. And so again, that would be my
area loophole kind of.
But you're playing very fair. You are legit what you are.
Absolutely. My CFO, I have a CFO.
I've never had a bank man ask being like, so
but
what ointments do you use and what waxes do you use? Like,
my CFO's point as well is we're a spa. That's what we're categorized as. So that's what we should be categorized as.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
How you should be
That's
treated.
lovely peace of mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, especially on a 1,500 bill. Yeah.
But I've heard of like dispensaries over there having to have giant safes and have mercenaries there at night with machine guns to store all their money because they can't put any of it in the bank. Yeah, everything has to just keep rolling in there.
It's I used to manage a dispensary back when we called it the Wild Wild West. So we're talking 2012 when we were medical.
Yeah.
2013. Yeah, I managed this mom and pop dispensary, and again, this is before we had certain types of tracking and we had laws in place. But this is one of the things that I would have to do. I would have to take, say, 100 grams of wax that's been individually put in, put into individual hash containers.
Yeah.
And that would just be for one drop. And then the next drop would be like 76 grams. And then the next drop would be like 180 grams. And so I would put all of that into my car. And then I would drive to these different dispensaries to drop these things off. They would give me cash. I would then put that in my car. Then I would go to other dispensaries and pick up pounds of cannabis in trash bags that I would then bring back to my dispensary where they would turn it into hash.
Jesus Christ.
There was one day that I was driving down the road and I realized that I probably had 10,000 US. I probably had I don't even want to think about how many.
Legend.
I'm thinking like anyone at any point could have seen me coming out of somewhere and followed me.
Yeah.
And at any point they could have killed me for what I had
taken everything.
But you know what? It's the idiocy of society. You're such a cute little lady, but they don't realize you're actually a gangster.
No, and I got back to work that day and I remember walking up to the owner and being like, that was the last time I'm doing it.
Yeah, we need a better fucking transport.
You're gonna have some security guard with
you. But even if you had been pulled by the police, they're not listening to what you have to say or where you're going. You've got 10 grand and a load of weed on you. You know what I mean? Let alone being robbed. The police had stopped you.
And they're leaving me on the side of the road. Like that's what's going to happen. And so I was so back then, this was before we had child-proof containers. And we would write the name of the strain and how much it weighed with a Sharpie on a plastic baggie.
Yeah.
And we would sell that. And I mean, that just does not exist now. Now everything is
it's all
childproof, all these things. And so I've seen this industry go from so many different angles. I've seen so much various.
And that's only what, 10, 12 years?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then what you've done pretty much not even overnight, but like I'd say it nearly feels like that now that's happened.
Yeah.
You're just like, what the fuck was the last year? You know what I mean? Like so much of everything at once. You haven't stopped and now it's like, go.
Yeah.
here's your dime.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
wow.
It's
Careful
go.
what you wish for.
Yeah, no, it's mad when it actually comes and it happens. You're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Now I have to do
Like,
stuff.
whoa, I got a lot to do. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The lists
No.
start coming.
That's it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
now
but
it's for a
amazing.
good reason, you know? Now
Yeah.
it's
No, it
Exciting
is.
times.
It's now working on your dream.
Yeah.
Making a beautiful sanctuary, a spa. Oh, wow. Like, and with complete peace of mind.
Yeah. That's the best of
Like,
it
that's
all. Like,
all people that consume cannabis want.
yeah.
We just want ease and peace of mind to not feel like criminals or bad people.
Imagine trying to get a massage and looking over your shoulder at the same time, so it might rage you. And any moment you're like this, like, oh, that's wait, what was that? Oh shit, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be relaxed for long. Like,
No, not if I'm constantly wondering if they're gonna come in and shut me down because
yeah,
THC on someone. Like, it sounds so simple, but it's just I just can't believe it's really happening. I'm still kind of relishing in the fact that it's real, and so
No, I
yeah.
hope
this
No,
so.
that's it.
Yeah.
it's made me feel it, and so I'm grateful to both of you for that.
No, for
No,
sure.
and you really should. Just like the fact that you trusted yourself so much, even that you kept it quiet, everything, and you were like, right, I'm telling no one, I am
Yeah.
just getting this done.
Wait
You
till it's
did
a
it for
reality.
you and for thousands of people.
Yeah.
This isn't just like I'm excited to see the beautiful spa, but this is also you are opening up a door to
Yeah,
so many
you
people on
you're
every
allowed now
single
to do it,
level.
but you've also given so many people the opportunity to also do it,
Yeah. Not be
and
afraid to do it.
and also you're educating them on how to do it. So not
Yeah.
only are you making it possible, but you're also telling them how to do it, and then giving them the products if they don't know how to do that. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
it's you've done everything in this.
You're a
You've
whole
literally
package, woman.
Thank you.
You've
Really.
opened the door and given them everything they need to go through. You know?
I'm trying. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, fair play to you.
You guys have to come to the grand opening.
Yeah.
Oh,
When do you
God.
think that would be?
I'm hopeful for this summer. It's all going to
Okay.
depend on licensing and how long each application process takes.
Yeah.
But we're very hopeful for
Yeah,
July.
it's a lot of ticking boxes and fucking people over there, and
Literally.
the smallest thing can make them come back 2 weeks later, and you have to make sure it's
Yeah.
right then. And
But
yeah, no,
remember that 16-year-old self.
yeah,
Exactly.
Every time you see anyone go chaos, be like, no, I remembered I was going to control
Yeah.
this. I got this. And you absolutely
I'm in
do.
charge. I'm in charge.
You are.
yeah.
You're the person that's got this going.
You
No
made
one
it all
else has
happen.
stepped up and done this work. Everyone else that comes in, they should very much fucking bow down to you, woman.
Yeah,
Because you've made it like this safe space for people to go and do this.
yeah, no, for
For
sure.
people to consume in other ways, and for other massage therapists that
That's
are
it for
like,
businesses and other
Yeah.
job opportunities.
even their own people, if they don't want to use it on their clients, but just start using it on themselves,
Right.
now can elongate their career
Absolutely.
and pain free.
You need to brand
That
your
alone.
creams as well. You know what I mean? Get them just
Yeah.
get them come out as a product.
Yeah,
'cause-
that's what we're gonna do. I have a whole line of products that I've just been producing on the hemp side of things at a very small scale, very small
Yeah,
batch.
but
But
now you can do the THC ones.
and they're tried and true, and I have people all over the country that use them, and so
Testimonies.
I'm speaking to different what are called MIPS. It stands for Manufacturing of Infused Products, and so it's in Colorado. There are 3 types of licenses, now 4.
Yeah.
There is cannabis cultivation. There is manufacturing of infused products. There is dispensaries, and now there are establishment licenses. And so, yeah,
Like you
we're
give me
working with
pathways
other
to the other
dispensaries
tree.
right now to try and bring the THC line alive. We're trying to take my whole line and partner with an amazing space that will give us clean THC, and
Yeah.
we'll be able to sell the products in dispensaries all
Amazing.
over the state.
That's amazing.
Wow. Like even that you're connecting and building like the community. Them people that will be able to supply you with the THC probably never even thought that would be an avenue with their products.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You're opening people's minds in other ways that are already in the industry.
and there's a couple of our products are face specific, and that's really something that I feel has separated me from the other cannabis topical products that have been in existence in the market.
Okay.
Everyone is focused a lot on the body, which is wonderful, but like the skincare market is an entire other industry. And I have spent the last now 6 years teaching the spa industry the importance of cannabinoids on your face and all the different reasons why we should be using them. And so that's a really big part of it for me too, is we have products that other companies just don't have because that's never been their focus, right? They created products to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
They just want fast and quick. Yeah.
They don't even care if they work once they sell.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just slap some THC and a couple oils together and make it smell good. That's not
you just flip it out there.
But then all the other stuff is giving you this heavy reaction. And,
right. Oh yeah, menthol and capsaicin, and you know, when you put those ingredients in a product, that's what the person feels. They're going to feel a cooling sensation or a warming sensation, and they're going to say, "Oh, I feel it working." No, you feel menthol.
Yeah, placebo effect.
That's not what cannabis feels like. You shouldn't feel homeostasis because it's be in balance. So, you know, again, that's another whole teaching aspect of what I do and why I teach in the skincare world. I stopped teaching for the cannabis world years ago. Because like I got to a point where it was like I taught them, if they want to listen, they want to listen. The skincare world and the spa world, they are hungry for this information because they see the potential and they see that cannabinoids aren't going anywhere. You know, there's a company here in America, she's actually sold all over the world, Reposage. Their primary ingredient is seaweed. And so in 1980, when she started, she was like, seaweed is the next big thing. And everyone was like, no, it's not. You're crazy. What are you talking about? She was like, no, it is. It is. It's the next big thing. And I'm going to open this boutique in New York and it's going to be amazing. And everyone ridiculed her and was like, it's never going to work. Well, then there was some popular movies in the 80s that used her mask, which was this bright green mask that they put, and it became like, it was like the most photographed thing in like the 80s of as far as skincare products went.
Yeah, the revolutionary.
So, and so this woman like made people all over the world realize that seaweed was this vastly important ingredient. And so when I first came across her when I was doing these speeches across the country, I was so inspired by that story. And I was like, I want to be her with cannabinoids.
Nice.
I want to be the person who stood on the soapbox for 40 years and was like, I'm telling you.
You don't believe me now, but one day you'll see.
It's the ingredient. And so that's where, again, my perseverance and my tenacity comes from. I believe that it's the future. I believe that it's our past. I believe that it's our present and it's not going anywhere. So let's learn the best ways to use it, right?
It's probably one of the most common things used over generations for thousands of years, you know what I mean? For all types, medicine, clothing, all this stuff.
Everything.
And then suddenly, what, about around 100 years ago, they went, nah, this isn't good. Let's put people in prison. Let's fucking
make
criminals out of people.
100 years ago.
Roughly, that's it.
Industry, right? The cotton industry became popular. Prohibition, alcohol ended. The petroleum industry started. And so all of those businesses have very big lobbies when it comes to government. So it was very, in my mind, I think, you know, there's this amazing book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes by Jack Herrera. It's also known as the Bible. You know, there's so much incredible information in there about the prohibition of this plant and the demonization of this plant and what actually
benefited
and how they put out propaganda about the plant saying, oh, this is the devil's lettuce. Oh, it's going to make you rape, you know, people, and it's going to make you murder and crazy things.
It was madness. Reefer madness.
They gave out free popcorn and candy at churches, and they gave them tickets, and they said, after you do your Sunday service, give out these free tickets and show this movie at your church. And so they did, and it was Reefer Madness. And so people literally were like, oh my God, I thought this plant did all these things for us. Oh my God, it's going to make us rape people, and it's going to the whole country's opinion
brainwashed them.
Shifted in the opposite direction, pushing them further and further away day by day by day.
Need to watch it.
While they were studying it.
It's ridiculous. Like, it's like, oh, I smoked a joint. Here's a shotgun. Oh no, and all this like ridiculous, like to the point of course that's not real.
Yeah,
you
no,
know what I mean? Like,
I've never actually saw.
I've only seen clips of it, people taking the piss out. I've never watched the full thing, but
yeah, it's crazy.
I'd say it's hilarious with a few joints.
Yeah, it's given to the public, you know,
yeah, forced down their throat.
Wide scale.
Yeah.
And it changed everything.
The Declaration of Independence was wrote with hemp paper. They were all hemp farmers.
George Washington, the first president of this country, said, make the most of the hemp seed and sow it everywhere.
And they said, nah, let's do the opposite. Let's lock everybody up that has this.
Right. So how did we get from George Washington to
But again, it's all them big companies. The cannabis industry would have obliterated all them. Absolutely. The cotton industry would have never taken off. The textile industry would never taken off. Even fuel. I've seen hemp fuel now and stuff. Absolutely. Like it literally.
In the 1900s, late 1800s, 90% of the world's ships that were out shipping things,
sailing,
composed of cannabis. The sails of the ships, the ropes, the twine, the sailors' shoes, the oil that they burned in their lanterns, all composed of
all this. Not that they were getting high,
and
just helping people day to day.
The good part, not even the flour, right? The stalk.
That's what it is, the leftovers.
Fiber known to man.
Yeah.
So that was a huge threat to the cotton industry, right? Cotton had just blown up. We had Eli Whitney invent the cotton gin, and everything all of a sudden became this streamlined process to get this fiber. Well, what happens to cotton after you wear it over time? It wears out. You have to get holes in it, and you have to buy more. Well, hemp fiber is the strongest fiber that's ever been created.
Yeah.
So the more you use it and wear it, the softer it becomes. The longer it lasts, the more the fibers bind to each other. Cotton is the opposite. It freezes over time and causes holes. So that's consumerism, right?
So it's like the light bulb effect.
They want everything fast.
Did you ever hear of the light bulb effect? The first ever light bulb is still lighting today. They made light bulbs that would never break. It's still lighting today, the first ever light bulb. And they said we need to put a mech or something in this that will make them blow after so many years, or will never sell more.
Buy more.
People would only buy light bulbs once in their life if they kept the original method. But they said we need to put a fault into light bulbs to build an industry. And that's it. That's cotton. We need a thing that will biodegrade after a while, so they come back and buy more.
Yes, you have to come back and buy more, and that's consumerism. That's what we want from you. We want you to be stuck in this race of needing more and wanting more.
Imagine we had clothes that never needed changing, and we had stuff we never need to replace. All we need now is a bit of food, and we're surviving. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my God, this is bizarre that I just watched this, and it happens to be sitting on my desk. This pouch is made out of hemp.
Yeah.
My brother, when I was in high school, so I'm going to date myself now, and that's okay. In the 90s, when I was in high school, my brother had a hemp kiosk in the mall in St. Petersburg, Florida. And all this little tiny kiosk, it wasn't a store. It was like
it's a little stall
in the mall. Yeah, stall. And he sold hemp goods. And so I had a hemp wallet, and he gave me this pouch. So this pouch is from the 90s. And I mean, it's just like it's ever been. There's no
solid.
I just washed it in the machine for probably the 400th time in its life. And so, I mean, that right there, right? It would have fallen apart 2 decades ago.
I know anything. Literally, I go through handbags like constantly, except for my vintage ones.
Exactly.
Or made
you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas nowadays, everything it's starts to fade and fall apart. Yeah.
So true. So
Bullshit.
yeah, so I remember having a hemp wallet, and I remember all the kids in school being like, "Oh, you're such a pothead. You're gonna smoke hemp." Being like, "You can't smoke hemp," like,
Yeah.
like so sorry. Like, no.
Yeah.
I remember there was an undercover one of them hidden camera comedy shows in Dublin years ago, and your man went into a hemp store and he's like, I wore this last week and I failed my drug test and work and all. And your man's like, it doesn't work like that and all these stoners looking at him, your man's winding them up, the camera's hitting and all. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna have to explain to me, boss. And then I bought this here, that's why I failed. He's like, this is closed, this doesn't get, you know what I mean? And just,
That's
it was hilarious.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, come here. Before we go, you have to tell us about your bouquet you smoked on your 1 year anniversary.
Yes. So it was amazing.
Yeah,
And
smoked well.
And it did. It was honestly it was by far the most cured cannabis that I'd ever.
I'd say so. Yeah,
I've never had obviously a year cure on something before.
yeah,
Yeah.
But the way that it maintained its appearance and its smoking level, like I was impressed. I was like, you did good, babe. Honestly,
Yeah.
we're probably gonna cook with what's left of it because there was no possible way that we could consume
How
that.
much was left?
Oh my god, there's like ounces left.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Yeah,
That's
I have
amazing.
to. I think the jar is up. Actually, it might be right in
I
here.
have the pictures here.
Yeah,
This is that is
that was our little
Oh,
sweet
look at
moment.
you.
So
there's
here,
what the cummerbund or what's it?
yeah,
What do you call it? And
boutonniere,
that was made of weed. And then your little
letter pieces.
leather pieces as
I
well.
even love the look at the fairy house.
Yeah.
Jordan, you're killing me.
I did
There was,
very
I definitely had another
Oh.
one. I can't find it here.
one of the.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, look at you.
This is the proper one with your full on bouquet, big heavy bouquet.
Yes, it weighed over 10 pounds. I was not expecting the weight of it to be what it
Yeah.
was. But it was just more than I could have ever hoped for.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
a dream stoner wedding right there. You know what I mean? For him to grow it, ready for the wedding, everyone to have what they want, and then the whole
Everyone,
1 year
batches.
tradition.
Yep, 2 batches so that we could give some as favors and then some as the rest is the display, the
Yeah.
centerpieces and all the things, and getting the florist to actually say yes. You want to pop in and say hi?
Sure.
We're just showing off your wedding pictures there. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
Showing off your amazing work.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just literally talking about your wedding flowers there and the 1 year anniversary, getting to smoke it eventually.
Yep. It's we smoked it. It was okay.
That's
Yeah.
what it was the longest cure I've ever.
Yeah. There's obviously a point where you cured it too long and it's going the other way. Like,
I was like, we can probably cook with this. I think that'll be the best result for what's left for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's a lot of oils to be cooking with. I'm like, not yet.
Can you make some creams out of it even?
Oh, absolutely.
That's you can have a wedding batch. You know what I mean? Just,
I should do a strain batch.
Yeah, you could.
I should.
Oh no, it's amazing. Honestly, I'd say you're very proud of her.
I am.
Yeah, no, seriously, the two of you, I love that you both have such a passion for cannabis and what you are doing.
Yeah.
Like to support each other and to keep every day getting up and we're like, right.
To have your
What are
own
we
separate, but to work together
Yeah.
as well. Like,
No, honestly, it's phenomenal.
It's definitely a very perfect partnership.
yeah, it seems to work well.
He's been my rock through this whole process and just encouraging me and reminding me that just that it was all going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to have that in a partner, someone that actually can see my vision, as crazy as it may sound sometimes, and support that vision.
She's insane.
I'm not.
But you gotta be to get shit
Yeah.
done. Fuck
No,
it,
that's
take
it.
being insane.
Normal,
The-
boring people
yeah.
don't achieve anything.
No,
You know what I mean? It's the crazy ones that believe.
Yep.
And make
Yeah,
shit
it is.
happen.
Nobody.
Yeah, no, when you're one of them.
People will like everything we're doing. Even if I had told people 10 years ago I'll be doing a cannabis podcast or I'm chatting to people,
Right.
they'd say I'm crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just people don't see it. People are too blinkers on and just going through life, you know what I mean? But
they really do. You know, I was voted most changed of my senior class. I went from being like the school's biggest goody to the school's biggest stoner.
nice.
And
Change for the better.
yeah, I remember at the time being like, wait, is this a bad thing? Because I feel like I only got better. And so all of those people that, you know, kind of viewed me that way when I was a kid, you know, I'm still friends on Facebook with all of them, and they now see me now and they're like, look at Jordan doing all this cool shit with me in Colorado. And I'm like, yeah, it was the way to go back then.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
Just seen it before everyone else.
yeah,
It is mental, literally, when you look back at the stages you went through to become what you are now. You know what I mean? All them moments that even people saw you evolving. And just like, she's changing. There's something burning inside her now.
yes,
You know what I mean? Really.
I do. I agree with that. And I think, you know, I had someone come up to me at a wedding a few years ago, someone that I went to middle school with. And when I was in middle school, there was some racist things spray painted on lockers. And I remember going up to the principal that day and like asking what I could do because it made me very upset. And he basically told me I could start a club and it could be whatever I wanted it to be about. And I needed to find a teacher to help me sponsor it. And so I started what I called the Culture Club. And I wanted there to be a place where it didn't matter what color your skin was. You felt safe and you could come and you could hang out and you could talk about whatever you wanted to talk about.
That's amazing.
And,
You're a legend.
you know, I had a few people that were members, you know, over the years, and we did some cool events. It was like the first event I ever throwed was like it's called the multi-ethnic food fair. And I got like all these businesses to donate food. And, you know, I'm 7th grade, you know, so like guiding me, you know, here's the phone book, you know, look up these businesses and things. And years go by, right? I was a kid, you know, I didn't think about it after, you know, middle school and high school. And I'm at this wedding and this guy comes up to me and he says, you know, man, it's so cool to see what you're doing for the plant. It's just like what you did for us when we were kids. And I said, what are you talking about? He was like, what do you mean? You've been a human rights activist your whole life. Now you're doing it for the plant. And I was like,
no, wow.
I never in a million years imagined that that's how people viewed me and that's what I emitted as a tiny little 7th grader. Like I was a human rights activist. What? But when I look back on my life and the path that's taken me to get to where I am right now, it all makes so much sense. Because I was always trying to just do what's best for the most amount of people possible.
Yeah,
no, and massively, you were standing up for what's right.
And that's it, without even realizing that's what you were. It just felt so normal and so right for you.
Like, this is
what should be done.
I need to do something.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
It wasn't okay, and it I can still see the images in my head right now when I think about it. It was so intense that if that happened in a school now, it would make nationwide news.
Yeah. And it was just a norm back then.
It was still
it was life.
Consider it normal, and it was just it was not okay. And I remember this like guttural feeling as a child of like, no.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to do something, and nobody's doing anything. And I was just like, somebody's got to do something. And so, you know, I never knew that it actually made a difference to people. Because
I'd say the few people, the minorities and all that got somewhere to go and felt accepted and stuff, that made a big impact in their life.
hiding on lunch break
Yeah.
or dreading to go back to their locker to see something horrible written on it.
Yeah.
No, they walk into a room to imagine your little self just like, hi, welcome.
Where are
Come
you
on
from? Tell me
in.
about your culture.
That was
Literally,
the funniest
I
part.
could imagine.
This
Like,
old white girl, and you know, I remember
yes,
thinking as a
so
kid, like,
because
I
how
don't
many
care.
times? No, because
Uh,
how many times like people of color have been the only one in the room and they
Right.
feel that way.
Yeah.
You were like, no, fuck that. I'm not afraid to
Someone to
be
speak for them.
because
Someone
I will
to,
make you feel more comfortable
Yeah,
because it's
was all I
horrible.
I
You
wanted
step
them
into their
to know that.
shoes. You're a legend.
yeah, big time.
No, and it is your mindset, even from a young age. You're like, as you say, human rights activist.
Right.
You never labeled yourself as that.
No.
You have a lot of do-gooders and
Yeah,
these people
they
that
want
go
to
on
be,
and, oh, did you know I did something good?
posting on their stories so everyone knows they done it. You know what I
No,
mean?
you don't even realize you've
You're doing it
just
because you know it's right and
the
it's how it should be.
impact.
Like,
Yeah, it's your
Exactly.
baseline morals are
That
there.
conversation so many times. He didn't end up going to high school with us, so like I didn't see him after 8th grade, but he remained very close to my best friend's groom. And so
okay,
first time we'd seen each other in like 20 plus years, and he just I remember crying and just being like, what? Like how and he was like, how did you not realize like what you were going to end up doing with your life? And I was just like, what? Like,
like when he went on to the
oh,
next school or the next class, he just remembered when he had that safe
Yeah.
space.
yeah,
So for you, it was like, oh, we done the right thing, and you kept on doing what you were doing. But for him, he missed that and looked back on it the whole time, going, for once, we actually had somewhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
so
yeah, that's how it's an impact.
you can
Huge.
giggle at me in my in high school. I tried to ask a guidance counselor if I could create like a space for like LGBTQ before it was just LGBT, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember my guidance counselor asking me if I was a lesbian, and I said, well, no. And he said, Jordan, I think this is one fight you're gonna have to let them take care of.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think that they care about your opinion. He's like, I think that you're gonna have to let someone else. But it was a very small group, and they were all in drama with me, and
Yeah.
I was fun of all the time, and I was so tired of it. I was like, they need a group.
Yeah.
Guidance counselor was like, no,
Stronger in numbers.
no, I think Jordan, I think you're gonna have to step this one out. And I was like,
Yeah.
I just want it to be fair.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
beautiful.
beautiful.
Oh,
No,
man.
it is. That's phenomenal. It is. You're just because that's all everyone wants is just
Somewhere safe to go and be
Yeah.
themselves.
and you should be everywhere you go, but unfortunately society is
It-
the way it is. But
Yeah.
if people like yourself can create these little havens, it's like that's what keeps us grooving.
Yeah.
From your culture club to now your canna spa,
Yeah.
like
So safe spaces for everyone.
yes.
Yes.
No,
Oh, that's it. It's like when we came to Amsterdam, we're finally not just a stoner of the group. We're in a group of stoners, and
yeah.
you know what I mean? We're not the outcasts anymore, and standing
literally that.
outside smoking by ourselves when everyone else in drinking and partying. And no, it is amazing to have that place where you can feel like you can be yourself and be around other people like that.
It does. It relaxes you so much. You even you enjoy your consumption more
Yeah.
Right.
because you're with people that you can actually enjoy the full highway. You can enjoy what way you're feeling.
Most
Because
people
you're
out
not.
just sneaking it and rushing it and
Yeah.
all, and then they're sitting by themselves on their own little high, you know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
to be around like-minded people doing stuff that you enjoy there's no better
Yeah.
feeling.
No better feeling.
It's
I mean,
literally the best thing in life. Like, it's better than anything you can buy. Is to be around people you enjoy being around, doing stuff you enjoy, and everyone. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
It's so basic, but so
It is.
Yeah,
It's
especially-
primal. It's
yeah,
need it. That's where my business name came from. Primal Therapeutics. Cannabis and the community that it creates and the feeling that it creates, those are primal instincts for us.
yeah,
Things that we have craved from the time we became a creation.
yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, that's it. Community is why we're still around. If we were all single animals just floating around, we would have died. We're not strong enough.
Right.
We
right.
needed a pack. We needed a community to help us grow into what we are today.
Yeah.
Finding you guys and the event that you had over the summer, and it happened to be on my birthday. I spent that whole day going to your museums and just doing my favorite thing, which is just being around art and culture.
Yeah.
And then being able to then go to your event and experience art and culture through your cannabis industry eyes and the way that you guys do things and the way it was the best birthday that I've had in a long time.
That's amazing.
Oh, God.
Experienced that. And I remember the guy wearing the hat and it said
Yeah.
times 20. And I'd seen him earlier that day. And I remember like hitting Ben and being like, that's the guy. That's the guy. I walked up to him and told him I liked his hat. Like, that's the guy. And so I remember sitting there and like watching you all talk. And I was like, I'm just gonna go talk to them. I'm just gonna talk because I really like your hat. I'm so grateful that I did because I still do love your hat. But I just, finding that community in another country was so amazing, and it just felt so right. And so I'm so grateful. And it all was because of one of your sponsors. I purchased his edibles.
Oh,
the
yeah,
lovely
yeah.
trichome.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trichome science. Yes.
Yep. I purchased those and I just tagged him and was like, this is amazing. And that just started a dialogue of me then looking at his stories. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this? How do I go? Let's make this happen. And so it was just perfect.
Laptop does this sometimes. It just literally dies and does a quick reboot and goes back on. It doesn't when we're on live sometimes. So I'll edit that out in the post production.
Yeah, no, trichome science, we were saying with the edibles.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they're like,
guys.
they're great community
They're
support.
amazing.
Like
Yes.
from the very first event we did, they literally, I remember I had set up everything, all the cute paint stuff, and they said they were coming like as friends. They're like, yeah, 100% we'll support, we'll see the event. Next thing, edibles everywhere.
Yeah.
They had stuff for everyone, and every event they always come through. They're rocking up and they'll spoil everyone. So it's we're trying to build this community connection.
Yeah.
It's not just business and this kind of stuff. It's actually, we're helping each other to grow.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It is. We're trying.
Yeah.
We're
No, for
really
sure.
trying. Yeah.
Definitely. I look forward to returning someday and actually being able to do another one of your events. This
Yeah.
year, I'm not doing any international travel because the spa is the focus.
Oh no, that's
Oh, 100%.
But
Yeah,
maybe
no,
we'll do international travel and you'll
well,
come.
that's it. Give us a bit of notice and we'll see what
I
we
will.
can do because it would be amazing to get over for
Yeah.
it for sure.
Yes, you would.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
we'll do a podcast from the spa.
Yes. On the massage
Yeah.
beds.
My God.
Yeah.
Best backdrop ever. It won't just be an AI version of what I'm trying to create.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm like, woo! There it is.
Oh, beautiful. Yes. No, you've created like the work you have done, the hard work, the dedication, everything. Thank you for what you've
Yeah,
done.
for real.
Really,
amazing.
we appreciate it because this doesn't just start with where you are. That opens the doors to the states around you. It opens the doors to it across
And it's
the
also
world.
like nearly a reverse gateway drug for people to get into cannabis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it works like this, let me try an edible, let me try a vape,
Yeah.
let me try, you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
the stigma's broken. They realize that it's not the devil's lettuce and
Yeah.
it's not this poison that we've been told.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So no, it is really. I'm excited to hearing stuff like this. Like owners always say, the next 5 years it's going to happen. But there's been a lot, like over in Europe with Germany legalizing. There are big people, like main focus from Europe. Kind of what the Germans do is very well done.
Right.
So a lot of Europe kind of follows suit. We're hoping.
Yeah.
And then with
Ripples.
these movements happening in the States, it's like.
It's all, even if it's baby steps, it's going in
That's
the
all
right
we
direction.
need.
Everywhere is going the right direction, but the
It's-
Netherlands.
Yeah.
The Netherlands are going backwards.
Yeah.
We're trying to clamp down and get rid of it all, but the rest of the world are going forward. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yes. And
We're
I
here
think,
on a sinking ship, just like
right.
broadcasting the new world while they're getting set up.
I think progress at a broad scale will continue. I just think there's
Yeah.
so many other crazy things happening in the world right now that
Yeah.
it's kind of taken a back burner, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So many other
But
things people are
with
focused.
every generation, you get less and less lied to and more educated. So it's,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? The old people that are still in charge won't be in charge for too much longer. And the newer people will have that more modern, more open-minded, educated view on the world. So
Absolutely.
Back to our
yeah,
roots,
that's
back to
it. End of
nature.
prohibition and back to normal.
Yeah.
Back to
No,
printing
it
ink
is.
and paper.
Yeah.
No, definitely we do. I can feel it. Like I hear even like speaking with like women, I'm hearing like myself included, I'm looking down a more natural path with all of my beauty stuff from conditioner to skincare. Like a lot of my moisturizers and stuff is cannabis based with coconut oil.
Right.
So that's my now it's nothing like fancy, but it does work good.
Right.
But it's I hear a lot more women wanting to go down a more natural route with
Yeah.
their products.
Absolutely.
They're instinctively
Hmm.
pushing away.
Yep.
There's no media. They're not allowed to promote that actually all healthcare stuff is filled with a lot of poisonous stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But women are naturally just being like, actually, wait, this is getting a bit too heavy, like of stuff we're consuming and putting onto our body. So
Yeah.
I am
Most seem to do
thinking,
more damage than good. Like
yeah.
it's crazy.
And so then when they find people like yourself with actual education and the knowledge, they're like, oh no, I wasn't
This
crazy.
is why this works.
And here's
you know what I
another
mean?
path. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
no,
That's the goal, just to keep
Yeah.
educating as many people as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Spread the good word. And you've done a good job so far. So just keep it up.
So, very much.
And yeah, it's Super Bowl Sunday there today. Yeah.
It is Super Bowl Sunday. When we finish, I'm gonna go to the grocery store and probably see a million other people there.
Yeah,
And
stocking up on chicken wings and beers.
yep, few things. We're gonna make a whole bunch of stuff. We got a pizza oven for Christmas and
Oh,
nice.
love it.
little individual flatbread pizzas and just a whole bunch of.
And have you many coming over?
Yeah, we have how many people? Like 5 people coming over.
Oh, nice.
Nice, cozy.
Should be good.
Yeah.
It's
So yeah,
super big.
Yeah.
I
Love
keep
it.
forgetting our time difference, and I'm like looking out your window, and it's dark, and I'm like,
Oh yeah, it's nearly 10 o'clock at night here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
know.
yeah, we'll wrap it up there then. It's been amazing to talk to you and hear everything and all the plans. And
Yeah.
you'll have to keep us posted on what's the development and when's it going to open. And
well,
yeah,
for sure.
maybe we can try and get over if we can make shit happen.
Yes,
Like, because
come on.
Yeah, I would.
a few days in a cannabis spa sounds right up my alley right now.
I will definitely keep you posted. Thank you so much for having me on your overseas
Oh,
Sundays.
yeah,
an
no, it's been
honor.
great.
It's really great to just see you both again and talk to you. I'm grateful to know you both. And yeah, thank you for having me
Yeah,
on.
same to you. And
Yeah,
thank you
no,
so much.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, for everything you've
Have a
done.
lovely evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.